US dollar has no value. It's not backed against gold or silver. What the US has is the petrodollar. The US worked out deals to make the US dollar the international currency for oil trade across the globe. So if we are not trading oil in dollars, the US has a major problem because our dollar has no value without the strength of the petrodollar. Our government would collapse if people stopped trading in USD with oil. So when Iran shut down the Strait of Hormuz, they made an alluding to that. They said, hey, if your oil and liquid natural gases are not being traded in USD, any other currency, especially the Chinese yuan, with the rise of BRICS, will let your ships through. They are actively trying to devalue the United States dollar because they understand that if oil is not being traded in USD, the US dollar is worth nothing because it's not backed against anything. This is also why we went into Venezuela. In case y'all didn't know, Maduro was going to start selling oil to China, but using the yuan. He was going to stop using USD. And that's when the decision was made very quickly to go in and take him out of power and try to get American oil companies to Venezuela to take over oil extraction and processing there to keep it in USD. Because if we start losing those trades using the US dollar, we lose value of our dollar, which will cause an economic collapse or at least a massive recession.
Right. And well, real quick, Shalom, real quick, want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rekakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth through the Holy Spirit. Peace and blessings and salutations to the Lord's hopeful elect. I'm the brother Zion, and Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to feed the sheep and the lambs of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. And I had saw this video and another video, all right, from this guy, Professor Noor. And he's really talking some truth, you know, and that's why, you know, brothers have continued to say, you know, this war can very well cause an economic collapse, you know, just like I said in the previous 2 videos that I've done. And, you know, because this is all about, you know, oil and devaluing the dollar, you know, and ultimately, you know, this, you know, the power moves that you see being made, man, is ultimately to bring in that MOTB. All right. And that's why you see different countries like Russia and China really, you know, primarily Russia, you know, they're not really, you know, backing up Iran like that right now, you know, because it's really not that time, you know, is this thing that we're looking at is pretty much to crash the economy, man. And we know what that's going to bring forth, the CHIP, man. So that's why we said, you know, brothers, we're seeing these prophecies come to pass, man. So, and that's ultimately why they're saying that Iran is winning the war right now, because they got the Strait of Hormuz, all right, shut down, you know, and you're going to see gas prices going up high. You know, there's one dude was basically saying that, you know, if oil gets to over like $300 a barrel, man, gas could be anywhere from $12 to $15 a gallon, you know, and not only is it only gas, but they say that the oil is used for different things, you know, foods and other particular things, you know, natural energy, all types of stuff. So that's why Trump is basically calling for them other nations to help, you know, but they basically saying, no, it's not our war. Are you on your own? And basically they don't mind using other currencies to pay for oil, even though the USD is the, you know, the main thing that they use the oil for. Other countries are saying, we'll use a different currency, man, you know. So they're cutting out Babylon the Great. The Lord is weakening this place, because it's not always about just having the strongest military, all right? It ain't always about that. You can be cut off in different ways, man. So let's keep listening.
So now Trump is panicking and demanding that other countries send military aid to the Strait of Hormuz to make sure we can open it up and get it all open. And but we also already destroyed their military, so you guys, you know, you don't have to worry. We've already taken out their whole everything, but they might have put mines. So we just need you guys to come and help us out. Why can't y'all handle that? Why do you need other countries to handle that? No, you know that if other countries start to go into an energy crisis because oil isn't moving, if they have to buy oil in a different currency, they will, just to get the oil to their country. And I think this is why Trump wants other countries to get involved, to try to keep the status quo. But a lot of the countries are saying absolutely not. We are not going to get involved, even if they don't realize it's about the petrodollar, but they will not get involved as of now. This is really concerning. And this is sad also that Iran is playing a really smart game that Trump and his team had no idea they would play. I do think people were aware that Iran had these cards to play, but somehow it eluded Trump and his whole entire team.
And this is another form of Joel 3, like we've been going into lately in the last couple lessons. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right. They're also strong in different ways. They're able to play on, different tactics, different strategies, because they have control over certain natural resources as well. Like we know that oil is heavy over there in the Middle East region, the so-called Middle East. All right. They have control over a lot of things. So they put together particular strategies to cut off Babylon. They have ways to they have other ways to make you suffer. And right now it's all about the economy, man. Hey, the Lord is playing chess, man, for sure. It's a beautiful thing to see. Because a lot of people think, since America just has a great military, they can't suffer. No, there's other ways to cut off your water,
This is a major concern for the longevity of the United States, especially with the cost of this war, how much money we're spending on this war, especially when you hear that we've been borrowing $50 billion a week for the last 5 months. That means we're going to have to pay that money back, or we're going to have to pay back the interest. It's all of a mess. So much money is just...
And they're never going to pay that money back. All right, the debt clock is man, Babylon is trillions of dollars in debt, man. All right, they're never going to pay that money back. All right, that's why, because first and foremost, we know that the money is not backed by anything. It's not backed by gold or silver. All right, it's just basically just made up from thin air. All right, so this money really ain't even money. It's just bullshit.
Being thrown around by the U.S. We're just hemorrhaging money everywhere. But if the U.S. dollar loses value, we have to pay even more in interest. Not just us as consumers, but the government itself. That means our dollar, that $1 trillion of debt, would suddenly get higher because the $1 trillion USD doesn't matter anymore because it will be so devalued. So this is a major issue. And I don't know if it can be resolved. Iran has made it clear this is on their terms. And, the more Trump keeps talking about, the Strait of Hormuz is open, it's not. Some ships have already tried to go through and got blown up when you said it was safe. So now nobody wants to move.
And what are they putting on your Western media? All right. They're basically just putting a bunch of bullshit up there to make the American people think that, we're winning the war and we killed this many people and we did this and we did that. But ultimately, you're losing right now, man. You're losing. Esau, Edom, you're losing, man. And your society, that's why the scriptures say you're no longer going to be called the Lady of Kingdoms, man. The book of Isaiah, chapter 47, in verse 4. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. Okay? I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thy hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou heavily laid thy yoke. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever. So didst thou not lay these things to thy heart, neither did thou remember the latter end of it. Okay? You've always been the most proud. You've always thought that you will never be taken down. But guess what? All kingdoms have an end, man. All kingdoms have an end. All right? You coming up on that 250, man. All right? That 250-year mark, And you're starting to see your society. See, Babylon is going to crumble from the inside out, man. First, that economy is going to drop, right? And then the Lord is going to put the cherry on top and blow this bitch away. These are the times we're living in, man. Let's keep going.
And insurance companies are not insuring those boats. So you have to wait for the insurance companies to insure the boats before people are going to want to move their boats. And now we also have a problem of oil production has been shut down in a lot of these Gulf countries, the Middle Eastern countries, because they have nowhere to put it because boats aren't moving. And it takes weeks to months to get those processes back running again once you turn them off. So I don't think Trump ever had a plan to mitigate this, let alone knew what he was doing or what Iran was capable of. But I do think they're starting to realize with this move, this is just a statement, whether Iran's actually doing it or not, if you're trading in anything but USD, other than that, you can go through. I think they're starting to realize what the game is, what Iran is trying to do. And Iran could very, very, very easily be successful in devaluing the US dollar since it's backed in nothing. But we'll see what happens. I doubt we'll get.
And somebody said the era of the USD is over, right? Because we're going into a digital age, which is going to bring forth the microchip. All right, this woman, Dr. Bunny, if the economy fails, it's Trump's fault. No, so you don't see these women are retarded, man. If the economy fails, it's because it's the will of the Lord, all right? A lot of you people are in complete, utter darkness, man. You know? Yeah, we're so screwed. Yeah, you're right. You people are screwed, man. But this guy was making some good points, man.
Get the truth on American news, but this is just me on my hunch. Y'all have a good day.
So, yeah, man, hey, Babylon, Babylon is completely cooked, Hey, you up in that debt, that thick clay, man. All right, Esau, Edom, he's finished. He is finished, man. So I wanted to share that with you, brothers. I know brothers have been keeping up with news and prophecies and all the things of that nature, but hey, it's a beautiful time to see Babylon the Great fall, Shalom.